Hey everyone, Sam Signorelli, H1 Fencing. Welcome back to another edition of Can Haz Armory. Today, how to patch a lame. We're going to take the lame that I washed in the previous video, and we're going to presume it's got a dead spot around the middle of the chest somewhere. Dead spots happen when there's physical damage to the material, there's broken fibers, might be corrosion you can't get off, things of that nature. Dead spots mean hits won't register, or they'll register off target in case of foil. And that's bad, right? Because you can't use the lame. Especially if you go to a knack and you have a dead spot about that big, and if it's right in the middle of the chest, it ain't passing. Sometimes you can fix it by using a patch. Now, there are two different ways of doing it. Number one is a patch of lame material. Another one is a wonderful material called Live Spot from Canada, and I'll explain what that is in a second. So the key to doing a lame patch is contact with the other lame. Usually in armor, if you identify with the dead spot, it's like write a small circle or identify where the dead spot is by drawing it with ink. You want to get a patch big enough to cover well past it. So if the hole's this big, you want a patch about that big. Make sure it covers the whole thing. You get healthy contact with good material. So I've taken some spare lame material here. Get it from the typically back of a dead lame. I've cut a small patch, and I'm going to sew this down. But understand there are two sides to the lame material. You have the side here, the actual front of the lame, the shiny part. Then you have the back side here. A little smoother. It's got a small backing out. This is not the side you want down. This is not conductive. That is. So what you do is you take it and you fold it over a bit so you have conductive material in physical contact sewn down against the what's called the substrate, the actual lame you're wearing. That way, there's good contact there. It's the same way the saber glove makes contact with the sleeve of the lame. Same thing as physical contact does it. Or you can use Live Spot. Now, Live Spot is a conductive patch. The glue on the back side is also conductive. I've tested that. Comes from out of Canada. You can get it at live-spot.com. It's really good stuff. I've used to save people's lames. I've used to save people who had the lame tab on their foil or saber lame go dead. I've bridged gaps across dead spots. Really good stuff. I highly recommend sewing it down once it's on, either by hand, as in the previous video about my glove sewing, or the sewing machine I'm going to use today. The needle will laugh at the glue, won't even gunk it up, and it will stay down very nicely, and it will do the job. Sometimes the temporary patch, if it's on a mask, it might be hard to stay down, but it works very, very well. That's why I have a supply of it on hand at all tournaments. So let me get the sewing machine set up, and I'll show you how to set the patch up. Here we go. Okay, sewing machine set up, got the lame patch. Now, like I said, I'm going to hit the patch. This is the good side here. I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to sew that side down so it's nice and tight. So I'm going to put it in my machine. Give it a quick rundown to hold it down. There's that. And I'm going to do that to all four sides eventually. That way we have good contact. We have nothing loose on the thread to catch a point on the lame. Okay. Aha, and it looks like the thread ran out, so stand by. I'll redo that, and then I'll finish it off. Hang on. Okay, so we're back, and I have fixed the sewing machine, and I have finished the patch, so you can see where it's sewn down on all four edges and folded over. Okay, nice and neat. So these four edges that are sewn, folded over, give me the contact point with the lame here. So I'm going to presume the dead spot's here. This lame is actually totally dead. I'm going to simply put the patch there. The foot is down. I'm going to sew right around the extremities. Get to the corner. Lift the foot, rotate it. Foot down. Next side. Right to the corner. Rotate it again. One more time. Hopefully bump the camera. Hang on. And there we go. Foot's down. Okay, and there's that. Trim the end off here. And from the underside. Bring it down there. There we go. Okay. So now, the patch has been sewn down. As you can see right here. Nice and tight around all the edges, so a point can't catch it. Okay. Get the sewing machine back, get a better view. So there's the patch. You can do that on any kind of material or any kind of lame. Getting the sleeve is going to be hard on a saber lame, so you may have to do it by hand. You can also, again, do it with live spot. Now with live spot, a little different issue with live spot. Sewing it is not the issue. It is going to be making sure it stays down. It does have a glue backing. Okay, so let's presume again we have another dead spot. And where's the one I just put down? Right next to the patch I put down. Let's presume dead spot is right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, that's my camera first off. There's that there. Take some live spot. I'm going to cut a small patch. About the same size as the other one. Okay. And this has a little paper backing on it. Sometimes the hardest part to get off is the backing. It's starting to come? I think it is. Come on. Okay. Try a different corner, one kind of got chewed up. Yeah, sometimes getting the stuff off is the hardest part of the repair. There it comes. Okay, so here is coming off the paper backing. You can see it's not very thick. This is the conductive side. The sticky side, the glue is conductive. First got some, I put my meter on it. Did not push into it with the needle probe, so we laid on top of it. Nice conduction. Worked very well. So see, let's presume the dead spot's here. So we lay it down. Okay. And now what you want to have is something called a brayer, which is basically a hard roller. I neglected to bring my brayer home, so I'm going to use a jar of soy sauce. And here's how you do it. You put it down and simply roll back and forth. And what it does is it pushes it down onto the surface. Especially make sure you're concentrating on the edges. Okay. And that is how you apply the live spot. Now, to make sure it stays down in future, you would take your sewing machine or your needle and you'd sew it down around the edge. Okay. If you have a bigger spot and two small patches, you can overlay them. It works fine. Again, if you're on the sleeve of the lame or someplace the sewing machine can't reach, you're going to have to use a needle. It's very easy to push through this. Most stuff with sticky back is really hard to push a needle through. This is not. The sewing machine laughs at this. That's you put patches on your lame. As always, happy armoring.